My name is David Butler, and what I do is I work for a company that works with, a lot of elite athletes in terms of the preparation for elite competition. We also work with a lot of military folks. We work with Navy SEALs. You guys know Navy SEALs, right? And we work with them. We work with Special Forces. And all of these groups, like Olympic athletes, Special Forces, they all have to deal with the issue of fear. Okay? Right? Okay, so if I said, what does fear mean? What would you say?
When you're afraid.
When you're afraid? Okay. Like, are you afraid of stuff?
Sure.
Like, if you and I met in an alley and I stood over you like this, would that be kind of scary? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? All right. Okay, so have you guys ever been afraid of something?
Yeah.
Like what? Like, go ahead.
Doing an aerial.
Doing an aerial?
From the trampoline into the pit.
Okay, all right. How about you?
Doing the handstand on the bars.
Handstand on the parallel bars? Okay, are you afraid of your coach? No?
Why is it coach?
Okay. How about you guys?
Yes.
Big boys. So you're afraid of your coach? Okay, what are you guys afraid of over here? Give me an example.
High bar.
High bar? What about you? High bar?
Girls.
Girls?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys, listen up. Okay, guys, pay attention here, okay? 'Cause let me tell you something. What we have here is we have two different groups, all right? Okay, we have some of you young guys and some of you older guys, and we're going to talk about something that's very important. Let me tell you also why we're here. Peter is one of our interns. He is from college in, down back in Illinois, and we could have picked, I think we told you guys before, we could have picked anywhere to go. We could have worked out with the Olympic team, okay? We could have worked out with Sun-Kissed Wrestling, which produces a lot of Olympians. We picked you guys, okay? So we brought Peter here for a fair amount of expense. It's a long day for us. We work with a lot of people, and we wanted to come here and talk to you guys. Now, one thing you need to know is I'm not your coach, right? But I am a coach. And you know what? I always have kind of this much tolerance for athletes that don't pay attention. You guys athletes? Yeah. And then we'll expect you to pay attention, right? Okay, if you don't pay attention, I get a little grumpy. All right? So you guys don't want that, right? No. You say yeah? No, okay, all right, good, good. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about fear today, and I'm going to turn this over to Peter, and Peter's going to talk about some issues of fear, because let me tell you something. All of us are high-level athletes, okay? So, like, I used to compete at the World Championships. I was a 3-time national champion, won the World Championships once. My sport is wrestling and judo. We work with MMA fighters, we work with judo, we work with wrestling, so that's my sport. So I've competed at the highest level, so I know what the issue of fear is. Okay, when you're going into a ring and a match with a guy that can kind of break you in half and kind of hurt you, a little fearful with that, all right? And so we have to work through that. I'm also a skydiver, all right? So I enjoy skydiving. So when you're at 14,000 feet and you open that door up and the wind's rushing in your face, you're looking down and you're thinking to yourself, why am I jumping out of this perfectly good airplane? All right, and then you have to kick, boom, and then you're out. And it's fear, right? Is your chute going to open? Who packed your chute? Okay, the ground's getting closer. You're traveling 126 miles an hour, and you get a little scared. But you got to do all your maneuvers and all your flips and everything. All right, so I understand fear, and Peter does too. Peter's a top-ranked athlete. So we're going to talk to you about that, all right?
Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, so how many of you guys would agree with this statement? Fear is never good, it hurts your performance, and it should be avoided at all costs. All right, why do you guys say that? Why do you say that?
Because, I say it because, like, when you're like scared of something, you just kind of get nervous.
Yeah.
The nerves are just like not the worried.
Yeah, no, definitely. During big competitions, that's completely understandable. You get nervous, and that's.
This guy in the front raised his hand.
Who? Which one?
The guy right here, Bruce Lee. He raised his hand.
Bruce Lee. All right, what's up?
I changed my mind.
You changed your mind. Okay, so you think fear is
good for you.
okay? Why do you say that?
Because like once you get over it, you can shoot so much faster than people who don't have to.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
can get farther.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I've actually talked to Michael a few times. He's actually a pretty good example of that. So, one thing about fear, something you got to understand is that fear is actually completely natural. Fear is a part of our DNA, and it actually serves a function. It can be motivational. For example, let's say, yeah, what's up? You have a question?
I believe you should avoid it because if you're like doing something that could hurt you, and the fear comes on and you don't want to do it, and you could hurt yourself.
Okay, so that's true to some extent, because yeah, there are things that it is dangerous for you. It can hurt you, and fear prevents you from doing those things. So that is true. So fear actually can be good. Fear can be good for you as long as it doesn't paralyze us. So first let me explain to you guys kind of how fear functions and then what the purpose of it is. So do any of you guys know why you get butterflies in your stomach or why you get jittery before a big performance? Anybody? Yes, go for it. You.
Like if you just started to learn like an event,
Sure.
and you went to a meet,
Yeah.
then you're kind of nervous. Like the fear comes on. You don't you think you're going to do bad.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
There's like a big crowd, and you don't really want to do it once you learn it.
Sure. Okay. Very cool. And
You don't want to embarrass the crowd.
yeah, exactly. Embarrassment.
Like if say you're doing like a round back handspring and you barely even know the round
Sure.
back handspring. Say like you really want to face it and try to like compete it. All you would have to do is like go for it. Just don't get afraid of it. Just fight back to it.
This guy should be up here doing the talk. I should give this guy the mic.
Dude, man. We're going to be on still team one.
Seriously.
I like that.
All right, one more. Go ahead.
If you just didn't want it, if you didn't know how to do a backflip and you had to do it during the event, you should you just try and do your best to get it so the feel doesn't bother you.
All right, very good, very good. So, yeah, when you get scared because your brain interprets it, and basically what happens to your body is your blood stops flowing to your organs. It stops flowing to your stomach, all these organs over here, and it starts flowing to your arms. It starts flowing to your legs. That's why you get butterflies in your stomach. That's why you get jittery, because your body is actually preparing you for rigorous activity. You see, fear actually has its function. It has its purpose. Fear is good as long as it doesn't. Nice, very good. Okay, so let's talk about some different kinds of fears. Is anybody here scared of hurting themselves? Okay, yeah, completely understandable. So this guy says kind of, though. This guy's a stud.
Go ahead.
So the thing about it is, when you're competing in a sport, getting injured is a possibility. It is something that is part of the game. But the problem is you can't let that fear stop you. You can't let that fear of, maybe falling or messing up stop you. Fear is good as long as it doesn't paralyze you. Exactly. Okay, so, and I can relate to this, guys. I used to ski race. I ski raced for 10 years. And there'd be times where we were going down mountains, we were going 50 miles per hour, right? And the only thing between me and the ground is my skis. And the thing about ski racing is you have 2 runs. So there were times where I would fall on my first run, and I'd have to go back up. I'd have to go back up to the top of the hill, and we'd have a second run. And I'm competing. I'm trying to beat the guys. And in the back of my head is, what if I fall again? What if I injure myself? What if? All these what if questions. But the thing is, there are ways to get past that. So we're going to give you guys a little tool to kind of help you guys move past fear when you have those kind of things going through your head. So when I say the word focus, what comes to mind? What's the first thing you think of what do you think when I say focus?
Like stop doing everything and just
listen to the person that's talking or something.
Sure, but what if I'm telling you to focus on your routine? What do you do then?
Then you just think of, like, keep on doing in your mind, like, what the coaches have told you.
Okay, all right.
How to do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shut out everything else and think about that one thing that you're
Sure.
focused on.
That's actually a pretty good definition.
Does your coach yell at you to focus?
Yeah.
Okay, does that help you? If I go, focus, focus, focus. Okay, you ever get tired of your coach doing that? Don't you get tired of your coach yelling at you to focus like that's not what you're already doing? Okay, so if your coach yells at you to focus for the 15th time, what do you think?
Focus.
What do you think? What? Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. Just saying stop talking to me because focus doesn't really mean anything after you keep yelling at me focus. Hang on just a sec. So we're going to teach you something that's going to help you when your coach yells focus. We use this on the national team, we use this on the Olympic team, and we use it when guys are in combat. Okay? High stress situations, we teach them how to focus. Okay? Peter's going to talk to you about that.
Okay, so this is an acronym. Do you guys know what an acronym is?
Doesn't matter if you know it or not.
Okay,
keep
basically,
going.
so
Okay.
so the F in focus stands for forget.
Okay.
So when I tell you to forget, that means forget what just happened. Whether you fell, you think you got underscored by the judges, you had a bad routine, you forget it and you're ready to move forward. The O stands for organize. That means you plan out what you need to do, what's next, what are the steps, and in what order do you need to take that. The C stands for concentrate. Okay, there's two things you could do here. One thing is cues, so one cue could be like, tight or push hard, whatever your cue is. Another thing that we teach is visualization. Like how does your body, are your muscles tight, are they loose? And I want you to picture yourself going through a routine. I want you to picture yourself doing it perfectly, making it as vivid as you possibly can. All right, so I want you to think how your muscles feel, what smells you smell, what you hear going on, and just visualize yourself doing it perfectly. Okay, you guys can open your eyes whenever you guys.
So the thing to remember, you guys, look, when we visualize, this is very, very important. There's a difference between visualization and imagining. So, like I'm running and I'm doing the perfect vault. That's imagination because I've never done it, so I'm just imagining it. But imaging it is different. If I'm imaging a technique, that means that if I grab that bar, I feel the metal. I can hear the crowd. I can sense the chalk on my hand, okay? And then if I'm going to the routine, I'm actually going to the routine. If you image something, you should almost be sweating because you're actually doing that routine, okay? Have you guys ever watched like bobsledders and right before the Olympics, okay, like they're doing this? You ever see those guys doing this? They are imaging every turn that they need to do in a competition. Let me tell you how powerful imaging is. The best weightlifting team in the world is from Poland. Okay, powerlifting team, okay? All right? In 1978 and in 1984, the Polish weightlifting team, when they were training, they only lifted weights 30% of the time. The 70% of the time, they just imaged lifting the weights. And they won the world championships by imaging because it was so vivid. So when we say image, you have to feel yourself on the bar doing your routine perfectly, okay? Perfectly. That's very important, all right? That's imaging, okay? So you do that when you concentrate.
Okay, so unwind. Next step is to unwind. That's to accept what's happened, take a deep breath, and just relax. Finally, we have step. Now step, we already know what we need to do. We already have it all planned out, and we step with conviction. We know what we need to do, we commit, and we just do it. So during competition, we're gonna give you another tool to kind of help you move past some fear, to help you when you're focused, when you're worried about messing up or not doing well in competition, or so we're gonna give you a tool to help with that. And that is the circle of influence and the circle of control. So circle of influence, that's things that maybe you can influence a little bit, but you can't really, you have no control over it. So that might be, what score the judges give you, because you can do an awesome routine, but it's really up to them. That might be how well your opponent does on their, or a competitor does on their routine.
Okay, if you focus on the things you can influence, but you can't control, what happens to this circle? It gets what? Nope. If you focus on this, what happens? It gets bigger. What happens to this circle then? It gets smaller. You don't want that. See, a lot of guys start focusing on things they can't control. If you focus on what you can control, your conditioning, your attitude, your energy, your commitment, what happens to this circle? It gets bigger. What happens to this circle? It gets smaller. That's a really, really powerful thing. And same thing with life. Focus on what you can control and not on what you can't control. Okay? It'll really help you to control your fear.
Okay, so basically what we've established, fear and failure aren't bad, okay? Fear and failure are actually a part of life. They're facilitative. They help us improve. They help us see where problems are, and it incites us to action. Fear and failure aren't bad. So next time you get nervous, next time you get fearful, what I want you to do is I want you to remember 2 tools we gave you, okay? I want you to remember to focus, to forget what's happened, to organize, think of what you need to do, concentrate, visualize, or focus on a cue, unwind, relax, breathe, accept what's happened, and step with conviction.
I want you to remember this, guys. Success is never permanent. No matter how well you do, it's not going to stay, and failure is never fatal, okay? And you have to learn to get through injuries, okay? Okay, let me tell you 2 of the worst injuries that I had. You guys want to hear? 2 of the worst injuries. One, I was working out with a guy right before a competition, and I went to do a move, and he was going to do a move, and he hit me right here in the jaw, right here. And I saw my tooth pop out. But it was cool, so I grabbed it, put it in a napkin, went to the dentist, and the dentist looked at me, and he kind of backed away, because what happened, see where my teeth bite down here? When I bit down, my teeth hit back here. My jaw was pushed all the way back to the back of my head. I didn't feel it really, okay? So he had to pull it forward, wire it shut, and then I went to the gym and worked out, right? 'Cause that's what athletes do, right? Yeah, we're doing the same thing. And one time I was in a competition and I broke my foot in the competition. And in judo, if you step off the mat, you can't compete again. So I stayed on the mat, and the referee was really mad. He said, your foot's broken. I said, I'm not getting off the mat. You know what he told me to do? He said, jump on it. So I jumped on my foot. Then he said, twist on it. And I twisted on my foot, and I finished that competition. And my coach take me up, and I went through the rest of the tournament. Got a silver medal. Why is that? Because athletes are tough. The toughest athletes in the world are gymnasts. After that are wrestlers and judo players, but it's gymnasts first, right? So the thing is, you guys, being hurt is part of your sport. But being afraid is okay as long as it doesn't what? Don't be afraid of failure. Michael Jordan will tell you all the shots that he made and didn't get. Don't be afraid of failure, guys. Control your fear by understanding it, focusing it, and working your control. Okay? All right. Thanks a lot. Okay.